What up? Welcome back. Today's video, we are going to learn some things, do some things, experience some things. Yeah. So from like 24 to 34, I was living my dream of being a firefighter in the summertime, and then I was living my adult dream of backpacking and traveling all over the world in the wintertime. And I would just listen to my heart and go where it is that voice took me. And there was this secret pleasure that I developed. Because everywhere I went, whatever hostel I was in, whatever beach I was on, whatever lake I was next to, mountain, it didn't matter. There was always a fire pit. And there was always somebody who wanted to start the fire. And it almost 9 times out of 10 always happened the same way. Someone would want to start the fire, and someone would start getting wood together to start the fire, and then they would attempt to start the fire. And 9 times out of 10, they would never make it happen. They would get frustrated. They would not know what they were doing, and eventually would just give up and quit and move along and go do something else. And then I would lean down and start the fire. Yeah, not trying to break my arm, jerking myself off, but it just happened over and over and over and over again that it got to a point where I started to take pleasure in just like secretly like watching people try and start a fire.
I mean, it's kind of dick that I took joy in watching them fail, but it was just like it kept happening over and over and over and over again that I noticed it, and I could see what was coming before it happened, and then it would happen, and I would laugh, and whatever. I'm a jerk. Sorry, my bad.
So I thought for a good video, this time around, we could teach people how to start a fire, like a simple, easy way to start a fire. It works every time. It's never failed me.
Whether you're trying to impress a girl, roast some marshmallows, or you're actually in a really bad spot and you need a fire to stay warm, to dry yourself off, to, keep the wolves at bay, whatever the case may be, you'll have that skill and you'll know what to do.
At the same time, we're a dream accountability organization. And this is, Modern Day Pathfinder's YouTube channel. So we thought that, throwing in some
dream achievement skills that we teach people within our organization. Now there's 2 questions that I ask people whenever they want to talk about goals and dreams and what they want to do and where they want to go and who they want to become. 2 questions I always ask them. I'll share the first one in a later video. But the second one, I ask them, what are your measurements of movement? How do you know where you're at on your journey? How do you know what you've done so far? How do you know how close you are or how far away you are? You need to know these things if you're going to actually get there. If you're really trying, you really believe in yourself, and you really want to get to the reality that you chose for yourself, you need to know where you're at. You need to know how you're going to get there. You need to know how close you are. Like, you need to have measurements of movement that you use on a daily basis to keep track of what you're doing. So I figured, on top of teaching you guys how to start a fire, we would also teach you our measurements of movement.
The tasks, the goals, and the dreams. 3 simple measurements of movement so that we know where we're at on our journey. Simple. Like, so simple, we turned it into a software and put it on our network. We put it at moderndaypathfinder.com. You go there, sign up, and create a profile, and you can use it. It's free for anyone to use. And plot out your course, where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do. We create dream achievement resources for anybody, whoever wants to use them. Stick around. Should be a good video. You should learn a lot, to be honest.
In starting a fire, there are 3 types of materials that you are going to need to collect. There is tinder, kindling, and fuel. Tinder is the light flashy fuel. It's the fuel that you put a flame to it and it's going to go. It's going to spark. It's immediately starting on fire.
You'll hear people say tender bundles. You'll get a small bundle of it. And you just need a little spark, a little ember, something, just a little flame to get the whole thing going, because it burns so easily. I mean, you can use anything really. Paper, dried up leaves, dead grass. Dead grass is a good one. But you see, you put a flame to it, and it immediately starts burning. Tinder. I'm a firm believer that you can never have too much tinder when you're first starting the fire. The more tinder you have, the better off you're going to be. What I like to do is take the tinder, break it up so it burns really easily. And I like to put the tinder into a ball and just kind of spread it out. Now, as I'm spreading it out, I also create a space, like a burrow, that I can basically slide my match, slide my lighter into it, and then once that flame hits the tinder, it immediately is going to start.
Kindling. Fuel that it's not like you can put fire on it, but it's not gonna start burning right away.
It needs more energy. It needs more heat. That's why you use the tinder to light the kindling.
These are your sticks, branches, mid-range, things like that. Kindling. It's fuel that it's not really going to keep you warm when it's burning, but the fact that it's what you need to get burning in order to burn the fuel.
Top of that tinder, I stack a log cabin of kindling. Now, the whole point, the fuel, that's the whole reason you're starting a fire, is to burn. For it to be a consistent burn, to keep you warm, for your food, impress a girl, whatever the fucking reason is. This is why you're starting a fire. This is the fuel. And then after that, I stack a teepee of fuel on top of the log cabin. So the fire will grow from this small burrow of tinder, catch the log cabin of kindling, and then catch the teepee of fuel. And that's kind of the idea. Like I said before, the tinder is what starts the fire, the kindling is what builds the fire, and the fuel is what sustains the fire. And you watch, just one spark, this whole thing is going to go. Ready? There we go. That's it. Give it a second and you'll see. See what I'm saying? Like, easy, simple process. Now you got fire. A sustainable fire.
So, 3 materials you need in order to start a fire outside of the spark: tinder, kindling, and fuel. You gotta have those in order to start a fire. The 3 measurements of movement that we use within modern day Pathfinders to keep track of where we're at on our path: tasks, goals, and dreams. They intertwine really well. They correlate very easily together, because your tinder is your small, light, flashy fuel that gets burned up real fast. Just like your tasks, your daily tasks, things that you have to do on a regular basis to get where you want to be. Now, your tasks need to be definable. You need to know what they are. You need to know if those things have been smoked or if they're still needing to be burned.
Task is something that it can be done in one sitting. You sit down, you do it, it's finished, off the table. A task is something that you have to get done. You have to get it done in order to accomplish a goal. You know, the goal is the kindling.
The weekly, monthly, sometimes yearly long goals that you have to achieve in order to achieve the dream. Now, the goal takes multiple tasks to achieve. You know, the kindling takes multiple pieces of tinder to light it.
The goal is something that is definable. You know if you've done it or not. You know, right now, perfect example, our dream is to do this 2, 3, 4, 5 year YouTube tour. You just take the Airstream on the road and go do dope shit, and videotape it, and create a channel for modern day Pathfinders. That's the dream. Some goals that have to be accomplished in order to make that dream a reality. I've got to get a new engine in my truck. I got to upgrade my engine. It's not strong enough to pull a 30-foot Airstream. I've got to upgrade the suspension in my truck. It's not strong enough to pull a 30-foot Airstream. These are all goals that have to be accomplished. They have to. If I don't accomplish them, I'm setting myself up for failure in the long run when we hit the road.
After the kindling, you have the fuel, you know, the firewood, the logs, the things that you're actually trying to burn. The fuel is the same as the dream. The dream is the thing that you want most out of life. It's the thing that you wake up in the morning thinking about. The dream is what sustains you internally. The dream is also definable. You have to know if you've done it or if you haven't. You have to know if it's burning or if it's not. Because if it's not burning, you need to work more towards it. You need to put more kindling. You need to accomplish more of your goals in order to get there.
The dream usually has, if it's big enough, if you're dreaming, like, lack of a better way of saying it, like you should, then you should have multiple goals that have to be achieved. It all builds on itself. That's the whole idea, is to build. The flame will continue to build on itself.
I know this seems real basic. I mean, it's starting a fire. You know, it's measurements of movement as you move down your path. These are all basic, simple skills that we assume everybody knows how to do. We assume everybody knows how to achieve. And I'm sorry, but in my experience, that is not the case. You know, people don't even understand that they need to have measurements of movement, that they need to know where it is that they're on their journey. They need to know where they're going, what they're trying to accomplish, and how close or how far away it is. Because if you don't know those things, I mean, really, you're just taking a wild guess hoping that something happens in your favor. You know, I'm not the type of person that likes to cross my fingers and hope that it happens. I'm the type of person that likes to do what the fuck is needed to be done to get where I want to be. And if I'm going to do that, I need to know where I'm at. I need to know where I'm going. I need to know what needs to get done between here and there. And so by having these measurements of movement, you know, the tasks, the goals, and the dreams, you know where you're at. You know exactly where you're at. I know exactly where I'm at on my journey to doing this, 3-4 year long YouTube channel tour. I know exactly where I'm standing because I've mapped it all out in daily tasks, in weekly, monthly, yearly goals, and in the epic dream that is the tour. I've mapped it all out.
It all interweaves together and it's all connected. We're all connected, let's be honest about that. So, that's what I do, it's what I use, it's how I've gone from being a 13-year-old runaway, living on his own, just hand to mouth, fighting and scraping for every little bit of anything, to a firefighter, to a world traveler, to smoke jumper, all these things I got off this simple process. So, it works for me. I hope it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, no worries. Take what's beneficial to you and what helps you and use it, and leave the rest. So, yeah, until I catch you guys again, hit the like, subscribe, all that shit, and keep watching. I'm excited. The little truck engine isn't taken care of yet, but we're getting closer and closer to fixing that problem and overcoming that obstacle. But yeah, I'll keep you guys in the loop.